There's a chilling fact. If you gathered every piece of candy corn made for Halloween, it could blanket more than 900 cemeteries across America. Bright, cheerful colors on the outside, but for many, this candy is pure horror. Surveys from the National Confectioners Association and YouGov show candy corn is ranked both the most loved and the most hated Halloween treat. People call it too sweet, too chalky, even waxy. Yet, over 35 million pounds, more than 9 million pieces are sold every year. Why does this sweet nightmare keep returning, haunting Halloween again and again? Tonight, we'll take you inside the factory to uncover the eerie process behind candy corn's creation. Candy corn first appeared in 1898, created by George Renninger of the Wonderla Candy Company. At the time, America was an agricultural nation, and the candy was marketed as chicken feed. Each kernel looked like a tiny ear of corn, celebrating the harvest season. By mid-20th century, mass production turned it into a staple of Halloween. Its bright colors matched autumn leaves, and bags of candy corn filled trick-or-treat baskets across the country. What began as a farm-themed novelty became one of the most controversial sweets in American history. A candy both loved and dreaded, forever tied to the darkest night of the year. The making of candy corn begins with huge stainless steel kettles filled with sugar, corn syrup, and gelatin. Heated to over 320 degrees Fahrenheit, the mixture boils and bubbles like a witch's cauldron. Mechanical paddles churn continuously, ensuring nothing burns or sticks. Steam rises as workers monitor gauges, checking temperature and viscosity. Each kettle holds hundreds of gallons, enough to produce thousands of pounds of candy in a single shift. The thick syrup becomes the eerie foundation for every kernel of candy corn. Once the base syrup is ready, it flows into mixing tanks where food-grade dyes and flavorings are added. Vanilla is the most common, blending with the molten sugar to form the candy's distinct aroma. Here, the colors of Halloween come alive. Pumps divide the syrup into separate vats, one dyed white, one orange, one yellow. Each vat holds enough liquid to form millions of striped kernels. The liquid candy is thick and glowing, like molten wax ready to be shaped. Now that the syrup is ready, the real magic begins: molding and layering. Unlike many candies that use metal trays, candy corn relies on cornstarch molds. Long trays are filled with fine cornstarch, and tiny impressions are pressed into them, each shaped like a kernel of corn. These cornstarch cavities act as individual molds, with a hidden advantage. They absorb excess moisture from the hot syrup. That keeps the candy firm while still soft enough to chew. Each tray can hold more than 1,000 pieces, and high-speed pumps fill them layer by layer. White on top, orange in the middle, yellow at the base. In just minutes, millions of striped kernels begin to take shape, their colors locked in by the powdery starch. Candy corn splits the nation. Some love it, some can't stand it. What about you? Are you team love it or team hate it? Tell us in the comments. Once the trays are filled, they're wheeled into cooling rooms. Here the candy rests at room temperature for up to 24 hours. The long wait allows the syrup to solidify, while the cornstarch holds every layer neatly in place. When the kernels are firm enough, machines flip the trays and sift away the excess cornstarch. Before packaging, the finished kernels tumble inside large rotating drums. Here, a thin glaze coats their surface, keeping pieces from sticking together. Warm air circulates through the drum, locking in shine and preserving texture. The final polish ensures each kernel stays smooth and ready for Halloween bags. Now the candies are ready to be shipped into Halloween night. Precision scales weigh exact portions, filling bags at speeds of over 100 packs per minute. Transparent wrappers display the striped kernels, while seasonal graphics turn the bags into Halloween icons. From there, cases are sealed, stacked on pallets, and rolled into distribution trucks. In just days, millions of bags arrive at supermarkets, ready to haunt candy aisles and fill trick-or-treat baskets once again. Some candies melt away, but one haunted the battlefield, unbroken even in the freezing cold. During World War II, when rations froze solid and supplies ran dry, U.S. Marines chewed Tootsie Rolls to stay alive. These chewy bites became both a lifeline and a legend. Decades later, the candy still returns every Halloween, dropped into trick-or-treat bags like edible ghosts of war. According to company records, billions roll off the lines each year, unchanged in form, texture, and taste. So how does a sweet born in desperation continue to survive century after century? The next chapter of our story will take you inside the factory where the answer begins to unfold. The story of Tootsie Rolls began in 1896, when candy maker Leo Hirschfeld in New York created a chewy chocolate sweet unlike anything before. He named it after his daughter Clara, nicknamed Tootsie. What set it apart was its resilience. It didn't melt in heat and stayed soft even after months of storage. That durability made it invaluable during World War II, when Tootsie Rolls were included in military rations. Soldiers carried them into battlefields, chewing through hunger and cold. What started as a family invention became both a wartime lifeline and a Halloween classic, still unbroken more than a century later. The first stage is all heat and pressure. Sugar, corn syrup, condensed milk, and cocoa are poured into massive steam-jacketed kettles. Flames roar beneath, steam coils hiss around the metal walls, and the mixture slowly thickens into a heavy chocolate syrup. Operators watch carefully as the temperature climbs past 240 degrees Fahrenheit. A few degrees too high and the syrup burns, too low and the batch won't set properly. When it reaches the target, the candy is glossy, dark, and almost lava-like, ready for its long transformation. Instead of being poured straight into molds, the chocolate mass is released onto cooling belts. Large paddles fold it over and over, kneading it like bread. Each fold traps tiny pockets of air. Without those bubbles, the candy would harden into a brick. Gradually, the surface changes from a shining liquid to a dense matte slab. Workers test it by hand, pulling small chunks to feel the stretch. If it snaps, the batch has failed. If it bends and resists, it has the perfect chew that defines a Tootsie Roll. Once stable, the mass is fed into extruders, machines that look like giant meat grinders. The candy is pushed forward by heavy screws until it bursts through narrow dies. Out comes endless chocolate ropes, thick and uniform, sliding across the conveyors in hypnotic waves. Dozens of ropes appear side by side, stretching for yards without breaking. It's here the scale becomes eerie. Tons of candy moving as one living thing. Imagine being stuck in freezing trenches with nothing but these ropes of chewy candy to keep you alive. Could you make it? Let us know in the comments. The ropes meet spinning blades that chop them into small cylinders, each about the size of a finger joint. The rhythm is relentless, thousands of cuts per minute. Immediately, sheets of wax paper wrap around the pieces. Mechanical arms twist the ends in perfect spirals, trapping the candy inside. This twisted wrapper has remained unchanged for more than a century. Its design as iconic as the candy itself. The sound of the wrappers crinkling echoes across the factory floor, almost like whispers from the past. Billions of finished rolls tumble through sorting chutes, weighed and sealed into fun-sized bags. Cartons stack high on wooden pallets, towering like chocolate walls. Within hours, forklifts push them toward loading docks, where trucks wait to scatter the candy across the nation. By late October, the wax-wrapped cylinders reappear in homes, offices, and doorsteps, chewy reminders of a recipe that has endured for more than a century. If Tootsie Rolls carry the spirit of survival, the next candy feels alive in a different way. Picture a rope, red as blood, twisting in the dark. Under Halloween lights, Twizzlers don't look like candy at all. They look like veins pulled from a monster's grin. According to Hershey, over 200 million pounds of these crimson cords are produced every year, enough to encircle Earth several times. Kids laugh while tugging them apart, but the image lingers, unsettling and sweet. What eerie process spins sugar into these endless ropes of candy? Stay with us, because what comes next will unravel the twisted secret behind Twizzlers. Before it was a Halloween staple, Twizzlers began twisting their way through American history in 1845, when the Young and Smiley Company first experimented with licorice candy. These early ropes were stiff, bitter, and nothing like the strawberry red strands most people know today. As decades passed, the recipe softened, flavors multiplied, and Twizzlers slithered from pharmacy counters into movie theaters. By the 1970s, they weren't just candy. They were props in the American ritual of snacking through blockbusters. Their long ropes passed between friends in the dark. When Hershey acquired the brand, production scaled to hundreds of millions of pounds a year. Twizzlers became a fixture of Halloween bags, a candy that could be pulled, shared, and played with, half treat, half toy. What started as licorice has now morphed into a symbol of fun, but also an unsettling image every October. Ropes of sugar that look a little too much like veins. Unlike most candies that start with boiling sugar, Twizzlers begin as a dough. Flour, sugar, corn syrup, and starch are blended with flavorings and color in huge mixers. The result is a sticky, elastic paste, thick, red, and glossy, like a mass of molten sinew. Operators check consistency constantly. Too dry and the ropes will crack. Too wet and they won't hold their twisted form. Only when the paste hits the right stretch is it fed forward. The paste is pumped into powerful extruders, machines that squeeze the mass through metal dies. What emerges is long, continuous cords, each with a familiar rigid twist. They slide out in endless strands, uniform and unbroken. Dozens of ropes move side by side, spilling across conveyors like crimson vines. This stage gives Twizzlers their signature look, a candy that doesn't just sit still, but stretches, coils, and dares you to pull it apart. The long coils are lifted onto cutters that slice them into precise lengths. Each strand is measured down to fractions of an inch. Optical sensors scan the candy, rejecting any cords that sag, crack, or twist out of shape. Freshly extruded ropes are still soft and fragile. They pass through cooling tunnels where chilled air firms the candy. Workers check for shine and snap. The gloss must dull slightly. The cords must flex without tearing. Trays catch the ropes as they loop and snake into place, settling into long coils. For hours they rest, slowly locking into chewy permanence. Would you choose the playful red Twizzlers or the darker, black licorice version that many find too eerie to eat? Drop your answer in the comments. Finally, the candy is portioned into bags. Scales weigh exact amounts, while clear plastic packaging shows off the twisted red strands inside. Machines seal the bags, stack them into cartons, and load pallets for shipping. By October, supermarkets overflow with Twizzlers. Some see playful ropes to pull apart, others see something darker. Veins turned into candy, ready to stretch from a monster's grin into trick-or-treat bags. Every Halloween, candy bowls across America fill with familiar shapes and colors. Candy corn returns like a sweet nightmare, a treat both loved and hated, but impossible to escape. Tootsie Rolls reappear too, wrapped in wax paper, chewy ghosts of a recipe that once kept soldiers alive. And Twizzlers stretch across bags and counters, playful ropes that always look just a little too alive under the glow of jack-o'-lanterns. Each piece tells more than a story of sugar. They carry history, survival, and unease. Three very different legacies twisted into the holiday we call Halloween. You've now seen what hides behind the wrappers, the boiling kettles, the cornstarch molds, the roaring extruders, factories that never sleep, producing billions of candies to haunt a single night of the year. Want to uncover more secrets from inside the machines that shape our world? Hit subscribe to Captain Discovery now, because the next story might be even darker than the last.